Something. Oh, at least the mic was on. It's Monday, right? It's Monday. So yeah, our nanny called in late. She was stuck traveling and couldn't make it this morning. So we had to call in reserves and a backup, and our uh, one of our backup nannies that they only want to do part-time anyways, and she came through and came here at like 20 minutes ago. So until then it was me and the wifey switching off, taking shifts and stuff. But here we are. We've got coverage till 3:30. So let's rock and roll. Hope everyone's doing well. Ooh, charts. First half of the live stream, we'll cover Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, and anything else that jumps out on the watch list. And second half of the live stream, we will cover your chart requests. We weren't sure if we were going to have a nanny or not today. So if not, then I wouldn't have time to do any chart requests because I was going to keep it to like 30 minutes. But now that we have one, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So put in your comments. Let me know what the ticker symbol is, what you want me to take a look at, what's the name of the asset, and what type of asset class it is. Is it stock? Is it crypto, etc.? So with that, let's jump in. This is the Bitcoin weekly chart, Heikinashi, right? Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Obviously, this is for educational purposes only. Hopefully, we have a little bit of entertainment along the way, even if that means making fun of me from time to time. But good morning, Gert Jan Tenhove. What's up? Welcome back. So we're going to jump into it, right? Talked about it. Could we see an altcoin? I put out a poll on the X app, and I still want to call it Twitter, but the X app. Would we see altcoins bounce? Would we see altcoins have a mini alt season? Will we have altcoins do a full alt season? And then, of course, died. Never going to happen, right? So I put that out. Some of them were bouncing. So we're going to take a look at that. We talked about it in the last two live streams about Bitcoin dominance having a pending sell signal. It's still a pending sell signal. So there's no sell signal on Bitcoin dominance yet. And we mapped it out yesterday of what it could look like. It may take some time to play out still, but hopefully we see a good bounce and or a mini alt season. I mean, if it was a full alt season, that would be awesome. But the higher time frames are looking bearish still, so it would take some time to play out most likely. But we'll get into all that. We'll cover it. Bitcoin weekly chart on Heikinashi had a sell signal, right? Had a sell signal. Had a sell signal over here, right? So there's other factors that we're looking at too, right? But just wanted to point out that we did have a sell signal on Heikinashi. So it's trending in the wrong direction, right? If we were going to the moon yesterday or Moonvember, right? Or Uptober, then the higher time frames are going in the wrong direction. And higher time frames take longer for it to play out. So I wouldn't be expecting new all-time highs in November after we just had a weekly sell signal, right? We had a weekly sell signal on Heikinashi over here. This is the local top. It dropped 32%. And you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks for it to make a new all-time high, right? So even if this was another local top, I would expect it to take time to go up and make a new all-time high. But there's several reasons why it's not just a local top. There's several reasons why it could be the top. And it'll be it's always in hindsight, right? It's always in hindsight. So again, another sell signal, but even from this sell signal, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17 17 weeks to make a new all-time high, right? It takes time for the ship to get turned around, right? It takes time. You have sell signal over here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks to make a higher high, right? Same with this one. This sell signal over here took a long time. I don't even know. That's going to be from this sell signal. It took 21 weeks to make a new all-time high. This sell signal over here took 116 weeks to make a new all-time high, right? So here we are. We had a sell signal, and I'm not expecting a new all-time high in November whatsoever. Could things turn around and reverse, and this is another local top? Sure. But like I said, there's several other reasons that why this could be the top, and we're gonna keep covering it every single live stream like we always do. Help me, help you, help me. Smash the like button. Throw an emoji, a comment, whatever the case may be. Like Gert Jan Tenhove over there, throw in a quick comment. Hello, 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 and help the algorithms. Right, help me with the algorithms. That'd be great. Thank you, thank you. So that's the weekly chart. If you look at the candles, hello, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome back. Weekly chart had a sell signal. We talked about it. There was a buy signal, but did we trust it? We didn't trust it because it was just coming back in for a back test of the trending dots. Trending dots are flipping red as well, meaning the trend is starting to go lower, right? So had another sell signal. And this was actually the lowest weekly close going all the way back to here. Let's see. The lowest weekly close going back to June, right? On the weekly chart. So if this was a sneaky lower high, this would be confirming that lower high with the lower low. So it took out this pivot point over here. It took out this pivot point over here at $108,000. We talked about that. That is a bearish sign, not a bullish sign. If we're taking out pivot points on the higher time frames, it's not bullish. There's so many people, so many large accounts, so many people on the reply guys got really excited on the bounce, right? And they probably will all the way down until it's really late to the party, and then they're like, there's like, it's already dropped like 40% or more, and then they just become DCA guys, right? So they buy the dip bros, and then they get excited on every little bounce, yet they're not talking about taking out this pivot point here on the weekly chart. So that weekly chart pivot point at 108,000, we closed at 104,750 ish, right? 104,750 ish. Expect bounces along the way. That's what I've been saying since the top, right? Expect bounces along the way to at least a local top, at least a local top. But like I said, there's several reasons why. We have long-term bearish divergence. This was looking like a lower high over here, confirmed with the lower low. It's trending downward, right? It's trending downward. So several reasons why that was not the bottom, right? So 98,000 on some, depends on what exchange you're looking at. I think it was 98, just under $99,000 on most exchanges. I guess not on Coinbase, but on Binance and Bitstamp and stuff it was. So that's the weekly chart. That's what we're still looking at. 2-week chart had a candle close below the trending dots, right? Candle close below the trending dots. Also has another pending RSI sell signal, right? You look at the MACD, pending MACD bearish crossover as well, right? Hasn't crossed over yet. Bearish divergence on the histogram for MACD. Bearish divergence on RSI. So price is making higher highs while RSI is making lower lows. So this could be the lower high over here. These could be the lower highs. And if so, it looks like it was confirmed with the lower low. And now we have an RSI sell signal on the 2-week chart. It'll take 2 weeks for that RSI sell signal to confirm. 2 weeks, right? It's a 2-week candle. So it takes time. That's what we're looking at in the 2-week chart. You see that by the time it had a sell signal over here and an RSI sell signal that all kind of lined up, it was already, price was already down nearly 40%. At one point, it was down 42.44%. And over here, it was down 38% by the time it happened. So if there's a sell in the next 2 weeks on this candle, and if it were to be, down here or wherever it is, right? Even at like 25, 26%, you'd be pretty late to the party. Not as late as over here, possibly, but definitely late to the party over there as well. So that's a 2-week chart. Let's look at the 3-week chart. Bounced off the trailing dots. Bounced off the trailing dots. Bounced off the trailing dots. Doesn't close until November 17th. So still have another week over there on the 3-week candle. Once you get a candle close below, I mean, that's another level of confirmation. And if you're waiting for something like that to happen, that close is down 47, call it 48% by the time a 3-week sell signal happens. So you'd be really late to the party. And there were large influencers that sell educational courses, experts, CMT, certified, blah, 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 calling that the bull market was still on during this whole entire time period. And then we got ready to attack the bounce and short it. And we did, but I shorted Ethereum. So completely different level, right? You're really late to the party. There's a lot of quote unquote experts that were really late to the party over here. So if you're waiting for a candle close below on the 3-week chart, whether it's at 98,000, 90,000, who knows, but that would be really late. And as you can see, it just takes time for it to play out. This is a 1-year bear market, right? A 1-year bear market. So that's the 3-week chart. Talked about the bearish engulfing candle. This is the follow through. Bearish engulfing candle, follow through, right? But Jesse, this one didn't have follow through. Okay, got it. Neither did this one, right? Price did go lower on by a wick on both of those, but over here, there's follow through. Over here, there's follow through, right? Over here, not as much, but price did go lower. So bearish engulfing candle, follow through over here. Now we're over the monthly chart. A monthly close below, again, that 108. If we get a monthly close, we still have a lot of time remaining left in the monthly chart. But you get a monthly close below $108,000 on the monthly chart as well, that's not going to look great for the higher time frames rolling over, right? Long-term bearish divergence, possible lower high, and then we're going to see by the end of the month. The month is going to take some time. We're only at the 10th day of November. We still have 20 more days. So hello again. You got hi and hello. Good afternoon. Welcome back, Caesar. Welcome back. So that's the monthly chart that we're looking at. Weekly chart already closed below that pivot point at 108 on the weekly chart. So that's bearish. That's not a bullish sign. And if we drop down the daily chart for the bounce, Still bearish, still below the trailing dots. Talked about it down here. Would it bounce? Would it let the moving averages catch up? Would it let the trending dots catch up? Taking time off the clock, right? So taking time off the clock, that's what we're looking at. We've got found support here at target 3 for now, letting it bounce. Still below this as well, right? So it's a downtrend until proven otherwise. It's a downtrend until proven otherwise. So the higher time frames are reversing. The daily chart is in a downtrend until proven otherwise. And just, expect bounces, expect fake outs along the way, also known as lower highs, right? Lower highs, lower low. So we'll just put in another lower high, right? You come down, lower high, lower low. This is still lower high compared to over there. Lower low, right? However it plays out. Could it bounce higher? Sure. It could always bounce higher. But lower highs and lower lows until proven otherwise, especially while the higher time frames are still bearish, are still reversing over, right? So let's see. Let me get back on the crosshairs. Bum, bum. There it is. Take that dot off. Let's make it yellow. It's the yellow path, right? Target 4 has not been hit yet. On Ethereum, target 4 has been hit. And so we're going to get into the rest of that too. If anyone has any questions on Bitcoin, we don't have any affiliate links. We don't have any paid. Never made $1 off an affiliate link ever, because I have trust issues, right? What if the company was like FTX? What if the company was like Three Arrows? What if the company was like Celsius and you took the money like Tom Brady? And then did he regret it? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't regret it, but so you only have one name and reputation out there. That's all you get. So with that, this live stream is brought to you by Market Sniper. It's official. We released 2 training bots out of the 30 so far. Sharpshooter RSI 3.2 and Sharpshooter candles 4.21. So you can see a couple screenshots there and over here as well, right? So that's what we've done so far. A lot coming down the pipeline though. A lot coming down the pipeline. And the setup process is all getting automated, right? Signing up for it, gaining access to the Discord and gaining access to the trading view strategies and the trading view indicators and blah blah blah, right? We have a couple more tools coming down the pipeline as well. Just working out the full automation sign up and cancellation so you can manage it yourself. And hopefully it'll be done this week. And if it is done this week, then we will talk about it. But it's a dashboard for trading and investing, and you'll be able to manage your subscriptions right on the website and everything. So everything's going to be dialed in, fully automated. We have to have a fully automated website and sign up process if we're going full automation on the trading bots as well. So I finally put out a video on Friday on, how, settings and setting this up on TradingView. And then the next video I'm going to put out is the TradingView, webhooks and all that stuff. And then I'll probably put out a third video for the third party to set up. You can come up with your own third party. You can manually trade this if you want, but for full automation, then I'll do the third one. Setting up. I'm going to keep them short and basic. and it can get pretty technical. So we have, an option on the website to, you know, hire Alex for a 1 hour video call. I was charging $1,000, but Alex will do it for $249. So um, you can see that option over here. So just come over here. You get you can choose $49 a month or save 2 months and save $98 a year at $490. And you could do the 1 hour. So I'll have the 3 basic videos all ready to go. One is done. I'll do another one today for the webhook stuff. Probably take like 15-20 minutes. And then the third one I'll do for the third party uh, that helps like fully automate it to your broker, right? So we're getting all set up. That's why the prices are so cheap, is we're still doing the videos and all that stuff. So at some point, once all the tools roll out, right, over time, we're going to be rolling out a trading dashboard, um, you know, several other things coming down the pipeline, additional trading bots as well. As people continue to come in to the Discord and stuff, these prices are going to go up for sure. If you lock in at $49, you'll be grandfathered in, and you'll be locked into that price for as long as you are in. You're not going to sign up and then find out the price is going to be cheaper. You're going to sign up and then find out that, hey, I'm glad I got in, because now prices are $59, $69, $79, $89, $99, whatever prices we end up increasing to. And so there you go. But yeah, you can do a one-time setup. It'll probably take about 45 minutes for Alex to literally walk you through, hold your hand, full setup on the trading bot, and then probably have like 15 minutes left over to answer any questions and stuff like that. So, but yeah, with that, let's get back to it. So we saw the weekly chart, the 2-week chart, 3-week chart. Michael PH. Okay. Playboy. Oh boy. What else? What else? Check in on this. How are we looking over here? Has anything changed? Did bounce off the $100,000 area, right? You got a little bit of support over here. It wasn't as much support as over here, right? This 110 seemed like to be a lot stronger support than, say, $100,000 is psychological support, but also psychological if you lose support. That's, once it started dipping below $100,000, people started really start to get bearish on the timeline. And now that it's bounced back over, they got really bullish again, right? So psychologically, this is a bigger support at $100,000, but from a chart standpoint, it's not a lot of support over here. So start closing below that, right? Close below it for just a second and then bounce back up. But start closing back below it, and we're going to most likely see target target 4, which is $92,000 to $95,000. See if it bounces there, maybe even comes back up for a back test, and get the bulls talking about it again, right? Oh, we're back. Bear trap, bear trap, bear trap, bear trap, bear trap, right? Meanwhile, it's starting to look like a bull trap. This was starting to look like a bull trap. Breaks out, makes new all-time high, and then reverses on you, right? And then reverses on you. So target 4, again, 92 to 95,000 is the range. See if it bounces there. We'll see what happens from here. But has found support as of right now. This was a big move down. It's retraced some of that. And now we're going to find out if it's going to roll over in the next couple of days and get back on track, right? It gets ahead of my fractal that I drew, and then it bounces back up into it. Then it gets ahead of it, and then comes back to it, and now we'll see if it gets ahead of it again. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the daily chart of Bitcoin. Let's go over to Ethereum. Similar thoughts, except for Ethereum has hit 4 out of 4 targets so far to the downside, whereas Bitcoin has only hit 3 of 4 targets so far. Are you talking about a buy? A lot would have to happen. If anything, be looking to attack the bounces for a short, but a lot would have to turn around for an actual buy. Doesn't mean as much. Doesn't mean as much. The the weekly, what 104.5. Um, the weekly support that was crucial was 108,000, and it closed below it. And I talked about that. I covered it all last week. Bulls do not want to see a weekly close below 108,000. Bulls don't want to see a monthly close below 108. 2 week chart, 3 week chart. It was all around 108, 108,250, 150, whatever. So that 108,000 ish was the weekly support that we were watching, not the 104.5. So 108,000 and it closed below. Why? Because it took out a crucial pivot point. So signaling that it was a lower low. So lower low was taken out. So I don't 104.5 wasn't anything that I was watching. So that's Ethereum daily chart, letting the trailing dots kind of catch up over here. Weekly chart had a sell signal. 2 week chart bounce off the trailing dots. 3 week chart bounce off the trailing dots. The monthly chart has not bounced off the trailing dots as of yet. Seems like the monthly chart would at least retest the trailing dots, which is currently below target 4, below $3,000. But by the time the month happens, it probably be closer to $3,000. It's a moving target, right? But yeah, had a sell signal in the weekly chart. Typically doesn't just turn right around, right? Typically doesn't turn right around. So we'll see what happens. The trailing dots are all the way up at 4,000 on the weekly chart, whereas the monthly chart is all the way down at 3,000. So we're somewhere in between $3,000 and $4,000, and it's exactly at 3,500, right? So, but that's what we're looking at on the daily chart. Now, circling back to, could we see Bitcoin dominance have a sell signal? Could we see a bounce on altcoins? Could we see a mini alt season on altcoins? For now, looking at it as a potential bounce, right? And some of them will bounce, like depending on which altcoin you're looking at. Some of them bounce 90%, some will bounce 20%, right? So a bounce until proven otherwise. And we did talk about this on the last live stream as well. Here's the Bitcoin dominance, right? I drew this chart out weeks ago, back in September, right? Back in September, I drew this out. Could it make a lower high and then roll back over, right? Not only did it come back into the trailing dots, but it spiked all the way up to 63.5% roughly. Came all the way back down. Then spiked again all the way to 61.5% roughly. Came all the way back down. So trending dots are down here just below 60%. If you look at it on the daily chart, there's no Bitcoin dominant sell signal yet, but it was pending like 4 days in a row. And we talked about this on the last live stream. What if it did something like this, right? and then roll over. That's a possibility. And we already covered that exact move on. So meaning it would take like a month or two to play out. And if we started to see Bitcoin dominance start to drop all the way down here, I would change my mind from a bounce to um I would change my mind from a bounce to mini alt season, right? And maybe mini alt season is like, okay, if a bounce is like a couple of weeks or less, mini alt season maybe 1 to 2 months, and then anything like 2 to 3 months or more, I would consider that like, okay, maybe we'll get a full alt season, right? So November 2024, we had uh, at least a handful of altcoins that we were watching and playing, like the XRPs, the uh, Algo, XLM, HBAR, etc. Were all bouncing really hard in the month of November, right? 3 to 400% pump. We played that. That was 1 month. That would be 1 month. That would be going from a bounce to a mini alt season, right? So I'd probably consider that a mini alt season. If you give us a 300 400%, 3 to 400% that last three weeks to a month, that's more than a bounce. And then after that, we had a bounce, right? But it was lesser. It was like an 80 to 90% bounce on a lot of those. And we'll take a look at it, and I'll show you what I mean. So maybe it's something like that, right? So it's a bounce until proven otherwise. And if it turns in from a bounce to a mini alt season, awesome. If it turns in from a mini alt season to a full alt season, that's even better. But take what the market gives you, right? Take what the market gives you. Whatever the market bosses give you, take that. So here we are in Algo, right? It's been consolidating. This could be the first daily candle close above this downward trend line. It's a pending buy signal, and it's already at target 1. Target 4 comes all the way up to the 200-week moving average. So if it's just a bounce, right? If it's just a bounce, then I would expect prices to hit these targets 30, 45%. And then at that point, probably going to retest the 200-week moving average. It's at 45%. If it's more than that, then we'd see price flip the 200, and we'd start to see the weekly chart to start to flip bullish as well. The weekly chart is not bullish right now, right? So I'm expecting bounces along the way, right? And if it's going to turn into a mini alt season, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time if it's going to turn into something more. So bounce until proven otherwise. You can see this is the 200-week moving average, slow moving, right? And then once the ship starts to get turned around, flips this, and that could be a mini alt season, right? So to bounce until proven otherwise. Now, some of these bounces could be awesome, right? But while we're expecting bounces while we're in a downtrend, right? So we're well below the training dots. And I already covered all this, right? When you're well below the training dots, it takes some time. And then once it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, then it breaks out even on the weekly chart. And that was in November 2024. And that's when we saw this was, in my opinion, it changed from a bounce to a mini alt season. And it was like 300 some percent. This is more of a bounce, 100%, 107%. This is more of a bounce, 88%, right? So you've got bounces versus mini alt season. This is like a very mini alt season. It lasts about 3 weeks. So that's all we've gotten so far. And again, we are below the trending dots pretty far. So the TA kind of worked out like this, kind of coiled up a little bit more, kept testing the trending dots, and then we get ready for buy signal on the weekly chart, right? That's how I foresee it. So it's a bounce until proven otherwise, and it could take a couple months to play out. Like if it was going to be a mini all season, then maybe it's like a month or two from now. If it's going to just be another nice bounce, then it could it's a pending buy signal in the daily chart. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Altcoins are crazy. It could happen tomorrow. Could happen a month from now. Could happen 2 months from now. We don't know. So playing it right now is a bounce, and if it turns into something more, awesome. But I'm not expecting a mini alt season until the ship gets turned around and the weekly chart is still bearish. The weekly chart is still well below the trailing dots, and the trailing dots are currently at 22 cents on Algo as of right now. And if you kind of look at the trajectory of the weekly trailing dots, maybe it's by the end of the year, it starts to break out on the weekly chart, and then we could play a much bigger move at that point. So we'll see. Yep, just covered it. I trade everything separately, but I look at the Bitcoin chart to determine if Bitcoin tops or not. And the canary in the coal mine's been in a bear market since the end of 2024. So MicroStrategy has been in the bear market since 2024. Since I think it was November 2024. So that's the canary in the coal mine, very similar to 2021. So that's where we're at. Pending buy signal on Algo. Is this going just to be another bounce? If so, doesn't mean the bounce isn't awesome. That's an 82% bounce in a very short period of time. I'll play that all day. That's 9 days. 9 days to bounce 80 something percent. That is wild. But if you're good at hitting the buy button, you better be good at hitting the sell button. If you buy that dip, you better sell that rip. Pending buy signal on XRP, still in the downtrend as of right now. Weekly is still bearish as of right now, and the trending dots are all the way up here at $2.80. So a bounce until proven otherwise. Cardano, similar thoughts. Weekly chart is bearish and well below the trending dots at 77.5 cents, right? Chainlink, well below the trending dots. XLM, SUI, dollar still bullish on the weekly chart. Dollar still bullish on the daily chart. TLT, dollar still at target 1, right? Still at target 1. Now the trending dots are in target 1. You start getting additional candle closes back above target 1. It said that was a higher probability that target 2 is going to get hit. And then we'll see about target 3 and retest the 200-week moving average, and so on and so on, right? And we'll continue to see what happens. What else? Rivian. Woo! Rivian. Woo-wee. You get the 200-week moving average up here at $20. Get the weekly chart breaking out of there. Woo-wee. Talked about this all last week, right? Talked about all last week. You got a gap at $23. You have the 200-week moving average at $20. What else? What else? Hodl, bearish on the weekly chart, bearish on the daily chart, letting the trailing dots kind of catch up over here. What else? Gold. A lot of people were celebrating that the top was in on gold. I was not one of those people. A lot of people are celebrating the top was in gold because then money is going to flow into Bitcoin, right? Well, what I pointed out the last couple of weeks is that gold's higher time frames, like the monthly, the 3-week, the 2-week, and the weekly chart, were all ultra bullish. So expecting any retracements to get bought up, whether that means price bounces and puts in a lower high, price bounces and puts in bearish divergence with the higher high, or this was just another higher low and we're going to go make another new all-time high. I mean, even if it creates bearish divergence, it would be putting in a higher high. So that's what we're expecting right now. On the last buy signal, now we're back above the trending dots. So it looks different, right? It looks different than, say, Bitcoin. The weekly chart is still ultra bullish. The 2-week chart is still ultra bullish. So we're expecting the dips to get bought up. Still ultra bullish. 3-week chart, still ultra bullish. Still expecting the dips to get bought up until it doesn't, right? Monthly chart is still ultra bullish. Still expecting the dips to get bought up. 3-month chart is crazy, right? Training dots are way back here, 2250. 200-week moving average is way back here at 2350. So still ultra bullish until proven otherwise. Now, could we see bearish divergence get put in? Yes. Yes. Could the higher time frame start to flip bearish over time? Yes. But I wouldn't be shorting right now. And if there was a lower high, maybe that would be an okay idea, right? There's bearish divergence. There could be additional bearish divergence, right? Could be fake outs along the way, additional bearish divergence, right? And then the lower high. Case in point, Bitcoin, right? Always expect fake outs along the way. So if it did something like that, that's Chop City. It would be putting in a rounding top, right? So on and so on. You would have the bearish divergence, higher highs, lower high, breakdown, right? And people will be ultra bullish this whole entire time. So it's bullish until proven otherwise. I would not be shorting it personally right now. Bum, 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 bum. All right, let's see if there's anything else that jumps out at us. Ooh, we're already at 45 minutes. Woo-wee. Let's take a look at the magnificent PLTR bouncing. Oh. Okay, let's go back on the crosshairs. So it had the sell signal below it, came all the way down, the whole gap down, everything. PLTR was down 18%. Now it's gapped up and bouncing back above the trend line. So a lower high is the higher probability. You have a gap here at 202. See if that gets filled. If it comes back up, fills the gap like this, and then puts in a lower high, that would be the higher probability that the top is in. Too early to call it as of right now. There are signs, but it's too early to call it. TQQ, similar thoughts. NVIDIA, similar thoughts. Tesla, similar thoughts. Still below the trailing dots, right? One target's been hit so far, maybe the second. the bearish divergence, see if there's a lower high that gets put in, and then see if it rolls over after that. If so, probably looks like something like that, right? Google, SMCI, Meta, filled the small gap over there, QQQ, gap up, gap down. There's gaps everywhere, right? Gaps everywhere. SP 500. The Russell's bouncing back into the trending dots. Dow Jones, Apple, Dow Jones. That's about it. PLTR. All right. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. What else? AGQ. It's a 2x leverage ETF on silver. Hive. MicroStrategy is not bouncing that much, but we've been watching the carry in the coal mine since the very top. The top was in, brought it up, said, is the top in all the way back in November 2024. Hindsight, it was. In hindsight, this weekly candle close last week closed below the pivot point. Confirmed close below the confirmation line, right? The Adam and Eve double top pattern has closed below it. We talked about, if we start seeing daily candle closes below it, and then we start seeing weekly candle closes below it, then the probabilities will increase that price coming back all the way down to the 200-week moving average. We first did this, Adam and Eve, over a month ago. Over a month ago, we started showing that possible Adam and Eve double top pattern, right? Over a month ago. But we've been talking about a bear market for a year now. A year. It's been in a bear market for a year. Just let that sink in. From that wick down to this wick so far, which is the lowest wick so far, and the lowest weekly candle, 350 days or 50 weekly bars, basically a year, it's down 59%. By all definitions, that is a bear market. By all definitions, we're not going to see a new all-time high in the near future. The odds are that MicroStrategies, the probabilities are increasing. The odds are increasing. We're coming back to retest the 200-week moving average. Whether this target works out or not, it's possible. Many people would be surprised if MicroStrategy dropped below $100. If MicroStrategy dropped below $200, many people would be surprised. Many people are surprised and probably shell-shocked that price was at $542 and then it came all the way down to $220. It's a 59% drop over 1 year. The trending dots are trending downward. The weekly chart had its lowest weekly candle close since October 2024. Closed below the confirmation line. A 2-week chart, we had a 2-week candle close below the confirmation line. Took out this pivot point. It just made a lower low, confirming the lower high on the 2-week chart. 3-week chart is pending sell signal on the 3-week chart. And this would be a 3-week candle that takes out this pivot point as well. So that would be a lower low, right? Monthly chart. Close below the trending dots. We haven't seen that on Bitcoin yet. A close below the trending dots on the monthly chart is a bear market, right? A close below the trending dots is a bear market. Top was in. So that's another level of confirmation followed by follow through. So don't know what to tell you. That is a bear market. That is nowhere near a bullish chart. That is not a bullish chart. We quickly glanced at them. Just in passing, we glanced at them. They look the same. So that's what we're looking at. The canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin is been in a bear market since November 2024. Has dropped 59%. It's not making a new all-time high anytime soon. So just showing you what I see in the charts. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. What else? Let's get back on the daily chart. Expect bounces along the way. Bounce, sold off. Bounce, sold off. Bounce, sold off. Bounce, sell off. At some point, there could be a rally. There could be a bear market rally, but I'm not expecting an all-time high in the near future. All right, let's get into some of the chart requests. Let's see. Playboy looks like the first one on the list. Haven't looked at Playboy in a long time. Let's see. It's been a long time since I looked at Playboy. Daily chart. Let's see. Wow. What a crash. What a crash. That's crazy. May 2021. It's been in bear market since May 2021. Wow. It once was at $63. It's currently down 98%. At the lowest, it was 99%. So, again, we've talked about Bitcoin as in an upsloping 200-week moving average, and you wouldn't want to see it drop to a downward sloping 200-week moving average, like the altcoins or, in this example, Playboy. It's not a bullish chart, right? So, is the bottom in? Is there going to be an epic bounce? Is there going to be an epic rally? Maybe. Is the bottom in over here? Let's see. Is the bottom in? Is this a lower high? I mean, a higher low? I always do that. Is this a higher low? Is this a higher low? Maybe. Maybe. But it's got some work to do. It's still bearish on the weekly chart. It's still well below the trailing dots on the weekly chart. Still bearish on the 2-week chart as of right now. Still below the trailing dots. Looked like as it's bottoming out, looked like it was starting to get the ship turned around, but it's the 200-week moving average is sloping hard downward, right? So 3-week chart, monthly chart, come back for a retest of the trending dots. So there are some signs that the bottom is in. There are some signs. But it's also possible I've seen other stocks go through like the longest bottoming phase you could ever imagine, right? So just because the bottom might be in doesn't mean it might be a good time to buy. So you want to see like the weekly chart You want to see the weekly chart flip bullish. You want to see the 2-week chart start to move towards flipping bullish, the 3-week chart, the monthly chart. Then there might be some gas in the car, right? So who knows how long the bottoming process is going to be. I've seen some bottoming phases go a couple of years or more, right? So who knows? Meanwhile, you've got the 200-week moving average. Maybe it starts to like flatten out. And if the 200-week moving average flattens out, right? Change that to blue. And then you've got price. Oh, I already got price there. And then you got oops. Playboy. Change that back to blue. And then you've got you start flipping wherever it is. It starts flipping out of the 200-week moving average, and the higher time frames are bullish. Then you could see a bigger bounce, if not a rally, right? A rally retracement. How high, we don't know, but you could look at like the eyeball test, maybe you got like target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. But I think it would take some time to play out. Probably going to take some time for the ship to get turned around. If you're just trading it on lower time frames, maybe the bounce is good enough for you. And who knows what your plan is. But, just kind of looking at it like, I don't know. Maybe get a buy signal and a bounce up higher. So you just have to determine, are you looking at it from like a long investor standpoint, or are you looking at it for like to play the bounce? These could be higher lows, right? These could be higher lows, and then the bottom is in. It could still take time for it to play out, right? So hopefully that helps. Whew. What else? Inch. Inch USDT. Yep. I haven't looked at this in a while. Right. Hit a couple targets to the upside. But that was a long time ago. Let's see. You got it, Michael. Bullish divergence on Inge. So we won't spend a lot of time on the altcoins just because we've been talking about it, but you do have bullish divergence here. Is this a sneaky higher low? Maybe. But the higher time frames are bearish, right? It's below the 200. Let's look at the weekly chart. Well below the train dots. You can see the train dots on the weekly chart line up with the downward trend line on the daily chart. So you got a lot of resistance up here. Could it break through it? Sure. But I think it would take time. Like it could bounce to like resistance, but there's a lot of resistance right here. So if it breaks through it, you would think that it would take some time to like build up momentum. Just like we talked about in the other altcoins, right? So it's in a downtrend until proven otherwise. And if it's going to bounce like on the daily chart, then just know that there's a lot of resistance up here. So it's got some work to do. Oh, we're already at an hour. Yep. Sounds like Michael was looking at it. He might be swing trading it though. We don't know. H bar. All right, we'll look at one more. H bar. I have it on here, but when I messed up my own watch list, yes. I mean, it's the same as the other ones. The pending buy signal, right? Pending buy signal. But the weekly chart, right? You get the weekly chart with the trending dots. It's in downtrend until proven otherwise. But we expect bounces, right? We expect bounces. So if it bounces up, even if it spikes higher, it may take time for the ship to get turned around before we see like a real mini alt season or a real alt season, right? So expect bounces along the way. Expect the bounces to get sold off until proven otherwise. And it would just take some time for the ship to get turned around. So looks the same. Hello, hello, hello. Nope. Late to the party, first of all. Secondly, there's not enough chart history on the meme coin. Melania. 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 Is that Trump's wife? Nah. Yep, I think we're gonna call it though. We're already at like an hour, so if you guys want to see some more tomorrow, awesome. But with that, we're just gonna call it here. Hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Thanks for smashing the like button. Thanks for hitting the comments. Help me with the algorithms, and we will see you on the next live stream. Hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Adios.